Okay, tutorial for artillery observation using Map Plus and laser rangefinder. Okay, we're to the north of the town of Berezino. We're in this clearing, northern part of the clearing. We need to fix our position in order to spot artillery properly. So first thing we do is we find a feature on the ground that we can identify on the map as well. And looking around here, and we have a lumber mill by the looks, lots of wood, large complex. We use this building on the northwest corner as our reference point. So we've got to find a lumber mill. Here it is over here. So lumber mill here, northwest corner is the building that we want to use. I use a green dot map marker. I use green dots so they're less likely to be confused with other map markers. Press and hold K and left click on the map marker, and that puts the compass rose in that position. Next thing we use is the laser marker, and we're going to shoot a bearing and range to that northwest building. Press R to arm the laser and left click to take a range. Our bearing is 2232 mils and our range is 1145 meters. We go back to the map, press and hold H on reference number 1 there, and that anchors the first part of our ruler, and we go to mil 2232. 22, it's in 20 mil graduations. So 2220 is the first one there, 2240 is the second, so it's in between there. Press and hold J and left click, and that gives us our bearing line and range scale. Our range is 1145, so we find 1100 meters. The green graduation's 1150 meters. Zoomed right in, our cursor diameter is just over 5 meters. So if we just short the green graduation, double click, and we place a white map marker and call it position number 1. It gives a rough idea of where we actually are. Go to 1000 meters, press and hold left square bracket, left click on there, and go to 1400 meters, press and hold right square bracket and left click there, and that gives us a bearing line on the map over our position. Okay, we go back to our weapon and we'll find another feature that we'll be able to use to take a bearing from. So press K and look along our compass, and to our south by southwest I see 2 peaks running perpendicular to my view, and by the looks of it, it's to the southwest of the town. So southwest town, south by southwest of my position, and there we are, 2 peaks. One's called Dabina. We use Dabina, so double click on the peak of Dabina and put a green dot map marker, call it number 2, press and hold K and left click on that position to put the compass rose on. We select the laser marker back in the first person view, and we're going to shoot a laser bearing at that peak. So it's a right hand peak. Press R to arm the laser, turn the laser on, and laser rangefinder off, and our bearing is 3532 and our range is 1955. Go back to the map, anchor the ruler using H and left click on the reference number 2, and we find 3532 mils on the outer graduation. So 35 is the blue mark there, and 32 is between the first and the second. Black marks there. Press and hold J and left click, and there goes our ruler placement. Our range is 1955. Our ruler only goes out to 1500 meters, so we've got to extend the range of our ruler. Double click and make a black dot and call it 1500 meters on the 1500 meter mark. Press and hold H and left click on that mark. That re-anchors the map marker. Go back to reference point number 2, press and hold J and left click, and that extends the ruler along that bearing line and places it over our position. So go to 400 meters, press and hold left square bracket, left click, right square bracket, right click on the 700 meter mark, and that gives us an intersection. On the intersection, just put a map marker. Now, for interest's sakes, our range is 1955 to Dabina. Now, we've moved it along 1500 meters, So 1955 take away 1500 meters is 455 meters. 400 meter mark, green graduation's 450, and just under a cursor above, place a white marker and call it number 2. As you can see, the range is falling short of our intersection. That's normal when shooting peaks at long range that are much higher elevation than you are, because actually normally you can't actually see the peak. Your laser is actually hitting ground just before the peak, and that's why you get the short range. And it's something to be wary of. Now, unless we're in a hurry, I tend to like taking a test shot at something, and so I look on the map, on the first person view, and I look for a position that I can use as a reference point. So here we have a street intersection and a building on the northwest side of that street, so I select my laser marker. I'm going to see if I can position this marker right on that building on the map. Arm the laser up and left click to take a range, left click again to turn the rangefinder off. Bearing is 2631 mil and our range is 1000 meters. So we go back to the map. On our own position we press hold K and left click to put the compass rose on our position. Press hold H on our position to anchor the map ruler, and now we've got to find our bearing is 2631, so 2620 is that one, 2640 is the next one, so it's in between there. Press hold J, left click, places our bearing. Our range is 1000 meters. Look for 1000 meters, and there it is there. So we double click and put a map marker on it. As you can see, zoomed right in, our corner of the building's here where my cursor is, and a couple of meters to the right there, or to the left from our person's perspective, is where the laser designator placed us. So that's our margin of error, so a couple of meters is okay for artillery. Next thing we do is we look for a target of interest in order to employ artillery. And lo and behold, a conveniently placed heavy armour unit. So what we do is we get our laser marker, arm up the laser, take a shot and turn off the laser again. Our bearing is 2325 mil and our range is 800 square. Go back to our map. Because the compass and scale ruler is already placed on our position, all we've got to do is replace the second anchor point for the ruler, which is the J button. So our reference is 2325, which is about there, and our range is 800 square. It's about there. Place our map marker. For our own reference, just to confirm we're looking at the right target, our target's to the far side of the street and it's favouring the left hand side of a building on the near side of the street. So if we look back at our target's on the far side of the street as we saw before on the map, and the building's favouring the right hand side of the target. So we're confirming that we're actually looking at the right target. Call up our artillery. In this case we're going to use Saddam rounds. Saddams are used for against armoured units. Normally it's about 3 or 4 rounds are fired. They're armour seeking units, but the problem with Saddam is that the envelope of their sensors is quite narrow, so you've still got to accurately place your artillery. Just left click here, the artillery marker on our own map marker, and that's the artillery is all set up ready to go. And impact looks like a good hit. And we zoom out, and if you can look above us you'll be able to see the trigger points for the Saddam rounds, and it's not that much higher, so that indicates quite a small envelope for engagement for the Saddam rounds. Very easy to miss with them. And we can confirm a destroyed target, and that's the end of the tutorial.